This review is made possible by Jeeps on the Run. If you're a Jeep owner, you have to check out their YouTube channel as well as their Facebook page to hear about Jeep events and engage with other Jeep owners. Links to both will be in the description below.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1947 Willys Overland Jeep. Up front is a 2.2 liter inline 4 and down below is a 3-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Jeep for a couple of reasons. Mainly the fact that I've never driven a car from the 1940s before. 1940s cars are very, very sparse and hard to find because not a lot of manufacturers were building cars during World War II and the years after that. However, Willys was, and that's what I'm driving here today. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. So, what is the Willys CJ2a Jeep? Well, Willys, along with a couple other manufacturers, built the military Jeeps for World War II. They're famous, everyone knows those Jeeps. But after the war concluded in 1945, Willys still had all the means to make Jeeps, but no one to buy them. And so what they ended up doing was building a civilian version. I know this is painted like a military Jeep. This is actually not the military Jeep. This is actually meant to be sold to people of the public. And so in order to do that, they changed the grille a little bit from 9 slots to 7 slots. They changed the headlights to be more pedestrian friendly because the military ones, they didn't care if they blinded someone. You're in war, but these, you actually have to conform to other motorists. And also they did switch up the manual transmission to be geared differently so you could drive it on the road better. However, the first CJ2As were actually built with surplus military parts. They were supposed to go to war, but the war had ended, so they just repurposed those. Speaking of military guts, let's talk about that engine. Now this has to be one of my favorite engines ever. Like I said, it's a 2.2 liter inline 4, makes about 60 horsepower and 105 foot-pounds of torque, but that's not why it's my favorite engine. This is known as the L134 because it had 134 cubic inches of displacement. But again, that's not why this is my favorite engine. Willys Overland wanted to build a reliable engine, and so they started off with a 2 liter, and their stress test was to run it until it blew up. And it ran at peak RPM for 22 hours straight before giving up. But the brilliant minds at Willys Overland said, that's not good enough. So they engineered this engine, the L134. They upped the displacement a little bit and set it back on the dyno to run with the goal of it running at peak RPM for 100 hours. And they did it. This little engine sat at the excruciating peak RPM for 100 hours and kept going. This engine was such a success that when Willys Overland got the contract to build the military Jeeps for World War II, they said, I think I know a guy. And by a guy, they mean this engine. Soldiers loved it so much, these things were so dead reliable that it earned the nickname the Go Devil. That's right, this engine is nicknamed the Go Devil, which is the most awesome comic book 1940s name in the world because Go Devils were actually used in the late 1800s to haul logs. It was this sort of single horse sled contraption. And no, they weren't really beautiful, they weren't really high tech, but what they were was reliable. It was a simple, easy, efficient way to get logs out of the forest when cutting down trees. That's what the Go Devil is, and so that's why this got the nickname of the Go Devil. This is the engine that won World War II. This is the engine that fought back against the Nazis. This is the engine that liberated the people of Europe. That's cool. That is awesome. All right, acceleration test. That's 25, 30, 35. I'm still 15 mile an hour away from the speed limit of this road, but I'm pretty comfortable here. We're not gonna touch it. Like I said, paired to a 3-speed manual transmission, the clutch is somewhat heavy. It is a non-hydraulic clutch, and of course the shifter is pretty stiff. However, it does have a very satisfactory click into gear. Yesterday's video was a C7 Corvette Z06, and honestly, the shifter feels pretty on par with that. Last but not least, of course, the Willys Overland Jeep is 4-wheel drive. So let's talk about the interior. Well, there's not much to talk about. Down below, kind of by my right knee, I have the gauges. I have fuel, oil pressure, speed, amperage, and temperature. That's it. The steering wheel is pretty massive. So much so that it's actually kind of cutting into my gut. So if I'm cut in half by the end of this video, you'll know why. This does have added turn signals just for some livability modifications. And off to the left, I do have the lights. Now, I don't get any window cranks or anything on the doors because, well, I don't have doors. Off to my right, I do get the key to start the vehicle. Now, there is an interesting starting procedure. So you turn the key, that just turns the electronics on. But then there's actually a button on the floor to start the vehicle. This was pretty common in the 1930s and 1940s vehicles. The starter motor was its own thing. That's right, push to start existed 100 years ago and actually was the only way you could do it. But off to the right on the front dash, something I love is that I get all of these great caution and warning signs, how to put it into 4-wheel drive, how to put it into high and low range, and things of that nature, which is just really, really cool to see. Down on the floor, of course, we do have the shifter off to the left, 3-speed manual. Like I said, I really enjoy the feeling of it. And then also I get my 4-wheel drive settings for my high and low range and things like that. In the center, I don't get anything. I don't have any cup holders here in the Willys Overland Jeep. So, unsurprisingly, it does fail the big friggin' bottle test. Now, the seats are actually pretty comfortable. They are finished in this military style cloth, which is really, really fun and unique. However, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous because the gas tank is directly under my butt. The gas tank was actually put there to better protect it from any terrain or any gunfire. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so sitting in the back of a 1947 Jeep CJ2a. It's not very comfortable. I don't even know if you can see the top of my head. This is probably framed really poorly. However, these were the back seats of a Jeep at the time. You could go out and buy these and take it to the beach, take it to the Five and Dime, whatever it might be. I do get this sort of shelf over here. Well, this is really the wheel well, but I could set stuff down. I have some hooks on there, hooks here, hooks there. No amenities back here. For a bigger guy, not that comfortable, but hey, it's a Jeep. What do you expect? Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is undeniably one of the coolest cars ever. The owner, Mike, and his son restored this car, and they painted it, of course, in the military style with the serial number on the side showing his children's birthdays. But it's just so rugged. Everything on this Jeep has a purpose, and I love that. So what is it like to drive a Willys Overland CJ2a Jeep from 1947? It's good in some areas and terrible in others. It has an incredibly stiff ride, to be expected, and the actual shape of it doesn't really work for me. Now, I'm a big guy and I wouldn't have survived a day in the war, but the seat is fixed. Can't really adjust that. The pedals are very awkwardly spaced, and overall, I just kind of feel like I'm in a tractor rather than motor vehicle. However, let's talk about the good. Love that gear shifter. I love the engine. It's a little 4-banger, but it works. It does the job. This thing is spectacular. And God, it has the coolest name in the world, the Go Devil. How cool is that? But more importantly, I'm driving a piece of history, not even just military history, but automotive as well. The Overland Company was founded in 1903 and purchased by Joseph Willys in 1908. They subsequently changed the name to Willys Overland in 1912. And when the Second World War rolled around, they won the contract to build the Jeep. And so after the war, they built these, they built other Willys vehicles. Yes, there were other Willys vehicles that weren't Jeeps. That Go Devil engine has to be one of the most significant engines of the 20th century. Well, huge thank you to Mike for letting me take out his Jeep CJ2a. Mike has his own YouTube channel and Facebook groups for Jeeps here in the Midwest. Please go check it out. The information is up on the screen as well as linked in the description below. We made a little video together as well. And so please go check them out. If you have any Jeep questions or into Jeeps, it's something you gotta go, you gotta join it. Tell him thank you for me because helping him is helping me, and that's what this is all about. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.